Hello. First of all, let's talk about what this video is not. This video is definitely not me trying to handle the fact that apparently I didn't notice the signs of panic that I was feeling soon enough before I decided to pull out the med that I have that is it is squishy wooshy. Alright, cool. La 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 la. Right, so hello, Wings to Fly here. Yeah, once upon a time I knew I was feeling kind of icky and I was realizing that I was kind of trying to distract myself, but I thought it was because I was really tired. But as it turns out, actually, I was feeling panicky and resultantly not realizing that I only just now took the as-needed med that helps with the anxiety. Well, no, the other one helps with the anxiety. The one that helps with calming down the panic. So I decided to put on a video instead of calling a help center as I have in the past. Meanwhile, I have an assignment from the therapist. I have homework, peeps. I'm reconnecting with my inner child and I'm finger painting. This isn't a finger, in case you noticed. Oh, shall I dip the naughty finger? Yes, that handshaking is because I am... Oh, the anxiety. Oh, the anxiety, folks. And you know what the anxiety... This is the hilarious part. You might laugh. Some of the anxiety right now is built up because I'm not feeling really good. I'm kind of sick today. And so, let's try... Oh, I'm just so daintily finger painting over here. Oh yes, therapist, I'm going to go finger paint and connect with my inner child. Meanwhile, you know how I'm going to do this? In just the most way possible. Also, it's totally okay that I'm mixing up the colors inside the containers. One, because they're my containers and I can do whatever the fiddly I want with them. And, oh, that's kind of pretty. That's kind of pretty purple. And also, they're literally from a little Dollar Tree thing. Hi. Oh, that was a face. It was a try of a face anyway. All right, let's get some green on here, shall we? Anyway, so I'm not feeling well today, so I was lying around being sick, guzzling tea, trying to realize, hey, if I let my body rest, hey, I like what's going on with my fingers better than what's going on with the paper. If I let my body rest instead of trying to... Now I've got a new thing of wanting to work on captioning. Did you ever, oh my gosh, it's so much fun to try and work with caption on videos. I'll do a whole thing about that at one point. Maybe. But at the moment, I'm so panicky that I'm I need to maybe not start 17 different tangents, because I could. I want to try and make purple. Anyway, so I was there listening to all these incredible ASMR artists and audio roleplay folks, and my little goblin friends, there are so many incredibly and amazingly talented people out there, and I'm just so grateful for them. So I'm listening to, Nyx Moon Reads, Navalus ASMR, Ellis Knight of Shining Armor. Sometimes I think of the Shining Armor part, and sometimes I think of the Ellis Knight part, and then I'm like, well, I have to say both now so I don't make things confusing anyway, but then I've already made it confusing, wonderful. And I'm just there, and I'm listening to all the audios, and I got just hit with the biggest wave, and I thought I was just feeling depressed about it. And then I was like, wait, nope, I think my heart rate's going up. And that was when I realized, I'm having a panic attack. I was starting to... I don't think I'm having a panic attack. I think I'm fine. Meanwhile, just the biggest wave of just self-deprecating imposter syndrome surged over me. How pretentious am I? How pompous am I to put together a little channel? You know what anybody of those people would be saying if I was, if I would message them or something. Not that I would be so bold, but if I messaged them or whatever, I was like, hi, I'm having a hard moment. I'm trying to start a little channel. I'm feeling embarrassed about my offerings to the world. You know what any of them would say? They're all really nice human beings. And so they'd all be like, oh my gosh, it's okay, little listener. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just do your best and have fun. You're just doing it to have fun, right? Well, then just have fun. If you're not having fun, then that kind of ruins the point of it, right? Oh, right, okay. That's what any of these people would say. None of them would be judgmental. This is not my brain properly interpreting how anybody would be feeling about this, except for my little trauma response bully brain up there. Rude bully brain. Rude trauma responses. Anyway, So yeah, I am presently feeling guilty for taking up space on a little space of the internet that I literally created just so I could take up space. Like, wouldn't it be so much fun if, like, this whole little goblin troupe that I have invented in my head as existing to be my little friends on here and see silliness with me and like ducks with me and all that. Wouldn't it be fun if you all materialized? Of course. And oh my gosh, that would be so delightful to like connect with people. You know, if I made anybody smile, like, oh my gosh, that would make me so happy. But like also it just doing it is fun to me. Like just doing it is literally fun. Like just doing it is fun. So why is it a bad thing to be doing it? I don't know, peeps. It's almost like my brain doesn't make a ton of sense. That's what flowers look like, gang. Anyway, so the reason why we're being so sophisticated over here with these little, it was a little like one of those little like paint the wood thing wind chime things, and somebody gave it to me and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for thinking that I'm still spontaneous enough to like paint little wind chime things. But no, actually I have like so many mental things going on that make any kind of like creativity that's not just this like me trying to replicate something, like just spontaneous stuff. That's part of why I do just the spontaneous little improv stuff that I do for even my little role plays and whatever. Because I know me. Like if I try writing a script, I'm going to start obsessing about the script. Meanwhile, if I'm in the moment, it's just stream of consciousness. It's literally like a way that I'm being mindful, right? Meanwhile, like trying to like, so it was, and also it was like some watermelon looking thing, and like watermelon's cool, and I like eating watermelon, but like, I don't know that I want a little wind chime thing that's like watermelon. Oh, maybe these are morning glories, like the ones I tried to press that got all moldy, and so I wasted the beautiful flowers that I stole from nature. No, that's not what happened, but anyway, that's how my brain is translating things at the moment. This is why we're on a wild ride. Let's try some blue and green. Why not? So anyway, going to therapy. Week in, week out. Hi, therapist. Hi, how you doing, Wings to Fly? Oh, you know it. Trying to implement all the, cool stuff that I'm learning with you. And so, anyway, that's not exactly how the conversations go. I'm somewhat more dignified. No, I'm not. But anyway, she's quite lovely. And so I had this like great epiphany a couple weeks ago. And imagine that. It had something to do with this channel that I was talking to her about because I'm so excited about this, but at the same time, I don't know. Ooh, let's make a green cloud. Why don't we make a green cloud? And I was saying about how, well, actually, I was kind of talking about myself as a person more. And I was just like, the whole dialogue, like, oh, I don't like how I look kind of thing. Oh, I think I'm ugly or whatever. Well, that's okay. You're just not your type. Other people will find you attractive. Oh, maybe it's a tree, but you're just not your type, right? And so, what am I doing? I have no idea. I'm literally just trying to not deal with a panic attack by myself. And I just didn't really feel like talking to a person, which is why I'm not calling a help center. And probably at some moment soon, I'm going to be like Marco Poloing my bestie, because maybe she asked me to do that when the gollywoggles are coming for me. But also, like, do you ever have the moment where you just can't really figure out what you're going to say to another human being? Yeah, are you surprised that I'm having that right now when I turn this on and I'm literally like blithering here in front of a little watercolor? Apparently this is for watercolor canvas thing. It's this nice little, oh, that was very squishy. Nice little watercolor thing. Anyway, so I was talking in therapy. This video makes so much sense. Ow, we're getting paint in the boo-boos. Oh, it was the wrong side. I was trying to wipe off. Ow. Note to self and all of you, by the way, apparently, if you've got a kind of a dried skin scrape on your hand, maybe, shocking, I know. Did I just paint my stand? I did. I just painted my stand. Well, cool. Cool beans. Cool. Too cool for school. What if this is a bush? Well, I already got green there. I don't know. Oh, that's a nice green. I like this green. Splatter paint. Blech. That's not splattering, but that's smear paint. Whatever. Oh, now it's on the... Ta-da. It's not like a real sketchbook unless you get paint all over it, right? That's not true. I'm not an artist. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway. So yeah, I'm in therapy and I'm like, hey, like I really like Renaissance style art. I like Impressionist style art. And what's the other one I really like? Was romantic style a thing? Anyway. So, like, you get the idea. A little bit more realism in my art, or like a little less of the abstract in my art tastes we see, right? So, as I was talking, so what I was using was an analogy because, of course, me, the analogy queen, was talking about analogies. Oh, now let's combine green and pink. That doesn't seem like that'll be weird color at all. Yeah, that actually looks like kind of a plum. Okay, that's not too horrifying. Anyway, I was like, like I can really appreciate cubism and splatter paint and just all the different kinds of things. It's just not as much my thing. Meanwhile, there are loads of people who really like that. So maybe in this just cosmic comedy called existence, maybe what I am is splatter paint, which is not so much my thing. Maybe I am artwork created by someone finger painting. Lo and behold, what we're getting to. I am artwork that is created by someone finger painting versus, you know, Renaissance or what's the well, I guess that was part of the Dutch Renaissance. Anyway, like whatever. Wings to fly, it's fine. It's fine. You're okay. You're okay. No, I'm not. Well, we're trying to get you there. And I was like, maybe that's it, like maybe that's part of why I struggle with myself is like I'm just not my style of person. I just don't really like me too much. And that's kind of sad, but like it's not the end of the story because there's other people on the planet and maybe they like me. So like the stuff I create, when I start getting all like about it, maybe it's just because like at the moment I'm perceiving it as like, more abstract art instead of more softer toned realistic ish art. And and so the therapist was listening. She's like, I think this is a beautiful breakthrough, because she's a really sweet person and like says nice things to me when I'm blithering. And it's not like I'm struggling with self-deprecation at the moment. By the way, right now, do as I don't necessarily do as I say, but right now definitely don't do as I'm doing. Don't do as I'm doing. As I'm doing right now is, well, I'm modeling some things of a semi-constructive nature, I suppose. But there's also a fair amount of not super constructive behaviors going on right now because, as we can tell, there's a little bit of self-deprecation going on. And when one's doing that in a self-aware and humorous manner, that can be really fun. But when one's doing that in a kind of just a, hi, my brain feels like it's falling out of my head, I'm very ungrounded right now way, like that's when it's a good time to like pause. Anyway, so she was like, my challenge to you, oh, wings to fly, that's not what she calls me, but anyway, is to do some finger painting this week. And that was, by the way, a couple weeks ago. And so did I do it? No, I did not do it. And so I've been determined I'm going to do finger painting. And so I was about to try and take a nap, but at that point was when I realized, oh, I have waited a little too long to take the as needed med for, oh, I wonder if I could do a 4-leaf clover. And so I had taken the as needed med. That's a kind of funky 4-leaf clover. Let's try and see if we can. I was just listening to someone. Oh yeah, it was Meep ASMR, who is also, he's a newer. Oh, he's not new. Actually, I don't know if he's new. That ruined the 4-leaf clover. He's a fun ASMR role play artist who I recently found. Enjoying him very much, and he did a like, thank you so much. Oh, that is another really messing up the stems here. I'm determined. Did it one of those like, hey, here's a special thank you so much for however many views. No, I don't know. He got like a whole bunch of subscribers. It was very, very exciting. And I just like going back and watching all the videos and like gaining the history of the context for the little channels and things. Okay, that's slightly better. No, not really. Whatever, it's fine. And anyway, so yeah. Oh yeah, he had this whole like, did you know that there's like this many, and I don't remember what it was. This actually is a complete, ow! Did you know getting paint in cuts hurts? Don't worry, I'll disinfect it. It's not a cut, it's just ripped. Anyway, that could be triggering. I hope it's not, sorry. Yeah, there's like a percentage of, if you go through like however many clovers, you'll find a 4-leaf clover. Like they're not actually that difficult to find per se. Like they're not necessarily that easy to find. Wow, look at these fingers. they look like little Easter eggs. I grew up celebrating Easter. I'm Christian, by the way, which, um, oddly enough, surprises people sometimes because it's almost like they get confused by someone who's actually talking about how we should treat people respectfully and love them. Act with love toward your fellow man. Weird things like things that Jesus Christ said when he was on the earth. Little things like that, which is really discouraging for people to hear someone saying things like that and then take a second to realize, oh wait, no, that is stuff that Jesus said. Wait, you're a Christian. Yeah, I am. I'm so sorry that's coming as a surprise to you as a result of the fact that it would seem I think that respect is an idea, not just an idea, kind of like the last word as far as we should be treating people anyway. Well, I mean, it's not in any way. It's very important. It's very important. People aren't being treated respectfully. It's awful. Hi, therapist. I did the finger painting. Do you like the finger painting, therapist? I was going to have water, and then you'll notice I never used the water. Well, I've used up all the paint. And it is 16 minutes. So, yeah, this was an experiment in this. Like, I look at this, and I'm just like, cute. But I say that in kind of a smart alecky way. But, like, there could be on this planet a 2-year-old who has not been on the planet long enough to have particularly discerning taste. Who looked at this and was like, colors, pretty. Like it could exist. Don't pop my bubble. I mean, you can if you want to, but oh, I have more blue. Let's mess up my 4-leaf clovers and we'll turn them into little flowers. Because I spent so long. Isn't it funny how things that we'll spend so long on, and then at another point, just a little bit more whimsy will enter into our sphere of consciousness, and we're like, have a mess it up. Let's do a heart. Yeah, so this was my exercise in finger painting, splatter art, and in practicing creating something that, one, unleash a little bit of the inner child, and a little bit of the inner messiness. I was not very messy. Well, I was cluttered as a child, but I was not messy as a child per se. No, I don't know that my family would agree with that. I ran around barefoot, my feet would get dirty. Yes, that was commented on a fair amount. Which one would think, oh, well then why didn't you just wear socks so your feet didn't get dirty? Well, that was a question my mother asked when at one point I expressed sadness that my dirty feet were often made fun of. And she was like, well, why don't you just wear socks and they won't be dirty? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's fair. Which it was. But also, like, maybe an idea is also not to tease the child who's sad about being teased. But also, if you want to avoid being teased about having dirty feet at the end of the day, wear socks or shoes. It's an idea. There is a certain amount of common sense involved in preventing being teased, which I learned along the way. It was not something that came incredibly easy to me, learning to prevent that sort of thing, but eventually you learn. Just be quiet. Except I've never been particularly great at being very quiet. Shocking, I know. Yeah, we had an interesting therapy a few days ago, and I may have cried a little bit. Sometimes you look back and you realize that as a child you felt. Sometimes you realize that a lot of your guilt in taking up space, anywhere, stems from when you were little, and just things happened, and people were being people, and most people are kind of trying their best. There's a lot of people on the planet that I struggle to believe that of, but generally speaking, I feel like a lot of people are trying their best, and generally speaking, most parents are trying their best. We're all just struggling. I have dried paint all over me now. Behold, the next Picasso has arrived. Well, yeah. Not something I'd particularly want to buy and hang up in my house, but I guess the flowers. Again, I gravitate toward the slight. I was about to say the realistic portion of the painting. No, the vaguely representative portion of realism that is in the painting. Thanks for listening. This was a pretty scattered audio as well. Most of them are. But yeah, I'm not having a panic attack anymore. I don't really feel panicky. I just feel sad and depressed. But I know a lot of that is because I'm sick. Look, these look like little... Yes, I grew up watching I Love Lucy show They got the Lucille show on DVDs. Lucille Ball is a baddie. She is amazing. We the Baddies. There's a funny duo that does a comedy about that. Comedy skit. Are we the Baddies? Like, yeah, that's like so many people in the world today. You just want to be like, how are you not looking at each other going, are we the baddies? Yes, you are. You're being mean to people. You're hurting people. You're tearing families apart. What about this? Don't you frickety frack flibberty gibbet supercalifragilisticexpialidocious get? You are hurting people. Leave them alone. You know, that's one of the options. It's just to leave people that you don't agree with, even people that you don't like, alone. You know? Protect people from predators and abusers who are legitimate predators and abusers, you know? Like actual, you know, ones that there's like, you know, files and everything running around that would prove that they are, you know, people like that. Instead of just being like, oh, those people. No, they're not. Can we look at statistics? Can we look at like actual evidentiary proof? That's not probably the phrase I wanted. Anyway, I'm getting incoherent in my frustration. Well, it's colorful. Behold, I have finger painted, therapist, and I've used up, officially, I have now used up all of everything in here, I think. If I air this, which I probably will, because why not? That's a fair amount of what I'm wanting to do on this channel, is just normalize talking about the struggles. Because, you know, the different ASMR artists who talk about their struggles or provide reverse comfort videos or provide comfort videos, and you're there going, this is a thing that you can get comforted for? Like, it's okay to want that stuff? It's insane, you know? Just the different, like, comfort audios and reverse comfort audios for panic attacks. It's like, wait, really? Oh my gosh, that's so nice, you know, for someone who literally hides herself away. You know, can't have a panic attack in front of people. They might judge you. And these reactions aren't due to anybody that's in my life now. This is due to my responses to experiences that I had when I was young. That for many people, they would have been totally fine with, but for me, it got a little bit rough sometimes. I'll just drip that all, and maybe it'll stick in the paint and add texture. I don't even know. Well, there it is. I finger painted. And I avoided a panic attack. I was panicking, but I wasn't having a panic attack. And now I think the med's kicking in, so that's helpful. So yeah, if you were here listening, that was very nice of you. And just know that, you know, anybody who ends up watching this is obviously in the future, not right now. But if you are happening to watch this, just please know that the thought of you, of anybody watching any portion of this, you know, clicking on this for any reason, that meant a lot to a lonely, panicking little goblin for a bit. You matter. Like, literally, you don't know what role you could be fulfilling in someone's life. Like, who knows how long YouTube's going to be a thing, social media, the world's in flames, who knows what anything's going on. But, like, you know, months later, years later, whatever, this weird little video stays up on the internet. And, you know, somebody, you know, or even in a couple of months, when I think it'll be a couple of months before this airs, maybe it'll be next month, I don't know. Presently, it is October 3rd. So, like, someday after October 3rd, it could be tomorrow, and somebody saw this video and just took a little bit of time, not even watched to the end, right? But just clicked on the video, saw the scatter, and was like, oh, poor person, hope they're doing okay, and proceeded on with their life, right? Just the thought that anybody engaged with this in any way and, you know, heard my voice, like, it takes the edge off that pain of feeling like you're screaming into a void. It takes the edge off that pain of just hanging off the edge of the world sometimes. It was grounding for me. to a listener, if any such there ever might be. It was grounding for me in this moment to imagine you listening. And I don't know what you look like, and I don't know who you are, and I don't have to. Just the fact that you're listening, imagining that helped me ground myself a little bit and feel rather less like I was falling off the edge of the earth in my head. So, thank you for existing. Thank you for listening, if you happen to be listening, and if nobody's listening at this point, like, that's totally fine, very understandable. This is 25 minutes of a 34-year-old woman smashing at a canvas with paint, watching it dry on her fingers, and getting paint into a cut, which I'm going to go wash and put Neosporin on or something. Well, the generic version of Neosporin. Because economy. Loves little goblin friends. Just, I realize that me reaching out in this way is incredibly introverted and just many could view as silly. But you know what? In my own little way, making this video is me reaching out in a moment of mild, crisis, a bit of struggle. However reaching out looks for you might be very different for people. But reach out. Don't you give up. Don't you quit. Because there's people imagining the idea of you and finding comfort in it. Says one who imagined the idea of you and found comfort in it. Rock on, little goblins. Loves. Bye-bye.